Welcome to the video of finding volume of prisms. First of all objects in the world start with a basic polygon. We already know how to find the area of these three polygons. In the top shape, the rectangle, it's simply length times width. In a triangle, it's half the base times the height. And in a square, we simply square the sides. A polygon is a flat or 2D shape. A prism is a 3D shape. To make a prism, we simply add rectangular sides to a polygon. In the top one, we start with a rectangle, and when we add rectangular sides, we form a rectangular prism. In the middle shape, we start with a triangle, and we form a triangular prism. The bottom shape, we started with the trapezoid, and when we add the rectangular sides, we end up with a trapezoidal prism. In this top picture, we have a polygon called a rectangle. The area is simply multiplying length times width, or in this case 4 times 8. So we end up with an area of 32. The area is referring to the 2D shape. In prisms, we call the area with a big B. And to find volume, we simply find out how many layers of B will fit in the prism. The number of layers is the height of the prism. The height is not the same as the height used in the big B, or the area. So in other words, this height right here is not the same as this height right here. This height is a length. It measures the length of the side of the 2D shape. This height here is measuring how many layers or how tall this 3D shape is afterwards. We will continue with following the same steps. We simply find the area, this right here, of the 2D shape. So half the base, half of 6 is 3, and 3 times 5 would give us 15. So this area, or big B, the base, the area of the base, would be 15. So to find the volume of this particular triangular prism, the big B times the H, we already know the area of that triangle is 15, so we simply multiply 15 times 9. Quick reminders. Do not forget that this big B is not the same as this lowercase b. The big B is the area of a shape. The smaller b is the length of the side of a shape. So area, height. I'm sorry, not height. Length. Area, length. Also remember to use the correct H at the right time. This H, again, is not the same as this H. This H is referring to the height of this 2D shape. So when you're finding the height with inside an area, or the big B, you're going to use the height that's in that particular shape by itself. The height of a volume is talking about how many layers or how tall the actual prism is. So these two H's will not be the same. You need to make sure you know the difference. Let's work this one out. We start by looking at this particular base right here, the big B. So we want to find the area of this base. So we look at the rectangle by itself. We already know 4 times 8 is 32. So we already start off knowing that inside here we have a 32. We know there are 5 layers. So we simply multiply 32 times 5. And we know there's going to be 160 units to the cubed. Now the reason I use cubed, in squaring, we had 2 numbers multiplied together. In volumes, we have 3, so we have 3 sides. So we're going to it's going to be units to the cubed. Let's try another one. Area of half the base times height. We'll find just simply the area of the triangle, the base shape down the end right here, for 1 layer. So half a base of half the 6 is 3, and 3 times 5 is 15, just like it was earlier. Now we want to take that and multiply, create the volume, which is the big B times H. We know our big B is that area, so we know that's going to be the 15. We multiply that times 9. And we end up with 135 units cubed. Now let's look at this prism. In this prism, they're telling you already that that area of that star is 12. We know there are 12 layers, or the height of this prism is 12. So what do you think the volume would be of this particular prism? That's right. We know the area is the big B times the height is 12. You multiply the two, and it would be 144 units to the third power. So remember, the volume of prisms is very simple. It's simply the area of your base shape times the height. Big B times H. Simply find the area of the base shape and multiply it times the height of that prism. You try. I want you to write this out on paper. Make sure you show all work. Let's try another one. Again, write this out on paper and make sure you go back and show all work. Bring the answers to me tomorrow. Again, all work must be shown. This is the end of the video. If you have questions, go back and review the video again. If you still have questions, see me or your math teacher in class tomorrow.